Hey everybody, it's Ken Compton, and I got Coach William with me from the Savvy Inspector. And today we're going to be talking about one of Coach William and I's favorite topic: how to market a home inspection business. So, Coach William, welcome to the call.
Great to be here.
Got some pretty cool stuff going on.
Yes, sir. This is a great topic.
And you know what happens, Coach William, and you experience this too, because you constantly are coaching the clients in the Savvy Inspector. We have a team approach. I just want you guys to know it's not just Ken. We have a very large team, and they're all dedicated to certain aspects of home inspection marketing. And so when new clients come in, the first thing they ask us when they come in is, well, let me back up a minute. We'll ask them, why did you join the coaching program at the Savvy Inspector? And they'll say, I've been around a long time and I'm not very good at marketing my business. There's all these new home inspectors coming in out of the schools, and they're really running cheap prices. And I'm finding myself losing business, and I need to be a better marketer of my home inspection business. But what they ask you is, they ask us all the time, what should I do? In other words, like there's one thing that's the magic bullet. If I just did this, boom, that's it. That's not the way it works, is it, Coach?
No, not at all.
And when you came in the business, you probably were looking for something that would help you grow quickly as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like everybody else. I had, from the schools that you go through, if you're a licensed state, you had to, take classes and pass an exam. So in those schools, they're really geared specifically towards, being your own business, one-man shop. And they share a little marketing stuff. You need to go around the real estate offices and the lenders and drop off your business card. And so I had done that, made the one-page document, Word doc of, I'm the bomb because I got this, that, and certifications and, construction experience, all that good stuff that everybody says. And went around and dropped all that off. And, I think I did 20 inspections or something that year. But I had got enough to know, hey, this is a good thing, and it can be built upon. I just need to find somebody out there that knows how to get the word out and market it correctly, because I was clueless. So that's how I ended up joining the Savvy Inspector, of course. So yeah, I think most everybody starts that way. They think they can just go out there and throw out their name a little bit and get instant work. And it's sad to say, it just does not happen that way.
It doesn't. And Coach William, please know that he started up just like you guys. He didn't know how to do this either, and him and Miss Sherry have implemented what they've learned at the Savvy Inspector. And today they have 9 inspectors. They're going strong. They'll be in a 7-figure income revenue stream this year. So Coach William still runs certain home inspections and coaches at the Savvy Inspector. But the beautiful thing of what he's done, Sherry and William have set up a management committee. And the project manager or managers of the different departments in their company now handle the day-to-day stuff, which frees Coach William and Sherry up to work more with the Savvy Inspector and have a life that they've earned. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you market a home inspection business to achieve whatever your dream is? Okay, so when people ask Coach William and I these questions, we have to say, wow, let's find out a little bit more about you. Okay, so we want to know, are you new to the business? We want to know if you're a one-man shop and happy, a one-man shop want to go multi, and already multi needing growth. Because, Coach William, how you achieve these things really depends on where you are in one of those cycles, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And, on our TSI group, yesterday, one of the members had posted, they'd listened to our last podcast that we've done or whatever, and they had made the comment that I had made a comment about our inner circle agents and doing some price matching for those folks. And so the fellow had come back and commented about he didn't agree with that whatsoever. Need to hold your price. He's booked out. Well, another guy was booked out, a full week in advance, and he's the highest price, and he's holding his prices. And so I was like, well, okay, I totally understand it. I agree 100% with what you guys are saying. I need to be more clear about looking at it through the eyes of a multi-inspector firm versus a one-man shop, because if I was a one-man shop, by all means, I would hold my prices. And if I were the highest priced fellow as a one-man shop and still booked out a week in advance, you probably need to raise your prices. Yeah. So the different perspective of where you're at, the paradigm that you're living in as you approach the business, or when you decide you're going to do this marketing, you have to know where you're at and then try to figure out where it is that you want to go.
Right, and one of our favorite strategies is top producer marketing. Okay, so if you're new in the business, that's not a strategy you want to pursue. You're going to need a little time under your belt, tool belt, if you will, before top producers are even going to consider you. So what strategies that we recommend to our clients really depends on where they are right now in the business. And Coach William was referring to the Savvy Inspector has a private Facebook group called TSI Engage, and it is a very, very active group, and people are on there sharing all the time. Coach William and I and the other coaches get in there and share information too in a very positive manner. And our clients learn lots of cool things from each other at TSI Engage. It's been a hugely successful project for us. Okay, so once you decide where are you in the business right now, don't you have to ask yourself a few other questions, Coach?
Yeah, it goes back to the beginning with the end in mind. Where do you want to be, and what's it going to take to get there? So, I think most folks are like me. You just come into the business flying by the seat of your pants. It was a way to make a buck, and so you get your license or you get certified. You go out there and you start doing inspections, and then first thing you know, you're making a living off this, hopefully, and then you realize, hey, this is I can't keep doing this day in and day out, crawling through these crawl spaces and answering the phone and trying to market, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get this done. And if you want to grow and ever be in a position where you're able to sell it for a profit or step back and let it run itself, then you need to start with those kind of things in mind so that you can end up there. Because if you don't know where you're going, you could end up anywhere. So, and anybody thinks that way coming in. You're an exception to the rule. The only guy I know that's ever fired up a home inspection business and not be a home inspector. I think everybody else comes into it the other way. You're a home inspector first. You're like, oh, well, gosh, I guess I need to learn to be a businessman here too, because that's what it's going to take to survive.
William is saying, I don't know, those of you that know me certainly know this, but those of you who don't know me very well or have never come to one of our events, you haven't heard it, but in '97, I started a home inspection company called Southern Home Inspection Services, and I wasn't a home inspector for the first 5 years. I always owned a big, large company in the financial services industry, and so what happened is I switched over because it was a good opportunity I saw, and I brought in 8 inspectors, and we had 3 divisions, new construction, residential resale, and EIFS, or synthetic stucco. And so we did a very successful first year and then went from there. But that was pretty funny because my friends are saying, you're going to own a home inspection company? Wait, do you even know what a home inspector is? Back in those days. And I'm like, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Because like we said, I'm a business person first. I'm a marketer and a business person. So we would love for you to be that as well. We said on a previous call, and this was the epiphany for Coach William, really, when I said in a workshop, my goal for you, and my goal for you guys watching this call too, or gals, I shouldn't say guys because we have a lot of lady clients as well, but the folks watching this call, if you'll understand this is so important to you. I want you to move from being a home inspector to being a marketer of home inspection services. Okay, so I don't want you to be a home inspector. I mean, you got to do some inspections, maybe, maybe not, but I want you to be a marketer of home inspection services, all of the services your company has. When you're a great marketer and you understand that, good things happen to you. Coach William, that was true for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, because you're in the mindset of a home inspector, technical stuff. How can I inspect better? Are there better gadgets I can buy? Are there other gadgets I can buy to offer services with? And that's the mindset. But when you step back from that and say, hey, that is what it is. That's what I need to sell. I don't need to be out there actually, looking upon those kind of things. I need to be thinking about how am I going to get that next job and secure out a week's worth of jobs. So when you made that comment to me, and as I said in the other video, it's just that was the big light bulb came on. It's like, yeah, I totally understand that. And with that mindset, when you have that mindset, even the way you inspect changes because while you're doing that inspection, the number one goal is to get another job out of that inspection, and that could be, via the client that you're working for, or the agents, or the seller of the home. There are a lot of golden opportunities for us to capitalize on to ensure that we have a job tomorrow from the job we're doing today. And if you're not thinking that way, if all you're thinking about as an inspector, you're just thinking, what a great job doing an inspection I can do, and you're out of there, and you miss the opportunity to, grow your business. So, yeah, just putting on that different hat makes you think differently.
It sure does. I will tell you, Coach William, we're going to move right on to what are your goals. There is no magic pill. If there was a magic pill, Coach William would have taken it, and a lot of our other clients. And we have hugely successful multi-inspector firms who joined the firm when they were a one-man shop. Not just Coach William, but dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And the Savvy Inspectors really built from large multi-inspectors, smaller multi-inspectors, or medium-sized, and one-man shops with all kinds of different goals. So it doesn't matter where you are over here in the market right now. What we want to know is where do you want to go, okay? And we'll help you achieve those goals. So let's talk about a few things that you really should consider. I'm going to scroll up here, Coach William, just a little bit. How many inspections do you want to do? If you were going to wave the magic wand in 3 to 5 years and say, I want to be this, what would this look like? When we say it, what would done look like? When I'm done, what would that look like? Okay, because I want you to be able to envision that. You know, what's done. At 3 to 5 years, I wave that magic wand and say, here's what I want. What would that look like? And Coach William, here's the problem. And I know I worked with you on it in the beginning as well, and lots of other smart people like you. But you didn't dream big enough, did you?
No, I mean, when I came, met the Savvy, my number one goal, my only goal was to, man, if I could just get one a day. You know, if I could get one inspection a day, I could pay my bills and we could survive. So that was the mindset, and I think most inspectors that way. And I still remember that like it was yesterday. You know, because I share with other inspectors all the time. It's like I know where you're at because I remember being there. Man, if I could just get one a day, never dreamed. I mean, it never crossed my mind that I'd be sitting here doing this film right here today, talking about multi-inspector firms. And you know, now what our goal is. If we could just maintain 200 a month, and that, I mean, that's where it's at. And so we're successfully doing that. And so next year, hopefully, I'll be sitting here saying, man, if we can just hit 300 a month, you know. So the tools are here. It's if a person absorbs it, and yeah, you know, again, he who implements wins. And one bite at a time, we've continued to, you know, take a bite and chew that huge elephant. So. It can be done. If I can do this, I mean, any clown can do this because I can definitely.
Not many other people are sitting in your chair opposite me, so I think you've done fantastic, and that's why you're here because you've actually done it. You've implemented the Savvy system, and it's actually been hugely successful for you. So have so many of other clients. So my point was, if you dream small, you're going to get small. But if you dream big, you say in 3 to 5 years, boom, I wave that magic wand. Here's what I want, and you fall slightly short of that. Are you still the bigger winner? You are. And some people say, I can only grow 12% a year. That's all I've ever done in the past. Well, you work the Savvy strategies, and guess what? Now you've grown 44% in a month. We see it all the time. We have 2 mastermind groups with the Savvy Inspector, and they report their business results on the first meeting of the month for the last month. And they report it in 2 ways. Number of units, in other words, inspections, how much they're up, and then how much they're up in revenue. And one of the beautiful things is, even though they're not up 50% in units, they're up 35% in revenue because they engaged in strategies that allow them to get more price per inspection, sell more services, that kind of thing. And you just cannot believe the growth. It is unreal. We call the law of attraction, William, and you know this because you say it all the time too. What you focus on most, you get more of. It's that simple. What you focus on most, you get more of. So I want you to be focused on these goals. First, what are they going to be? How many inspections do you want to be doing in 3 to 5 years? Okay? And then I bet what happens is we can develop strategies together to get there. What do you want your company revenue to be? I think, William, people at your size are always looking to break through the first million in a year. But what happens is, and you guys are on the cusp right now, but what happens is once you break 1 million, getting to the second million is way easier. So what do you want your revenue to be? Okay, where do you want your business to come from? We call this market segments, and Coach William and I are going to be talking about market segments over here in just a minute. What do you want your personal earnings to be? I don't know about you, William, but I think we're in the home inspection business to get rich. We all want to be, you know, wealthy. I shouldn't say all. Most people really want to make some serious money. Okay, so what is it you want to make? I don't know what your number is. I know what my number is. So you have to ask yourself that. In 3 to 5 years, what do I want to be earning personally? I understand the revenue of the company, okay, but what do I want to earn personally? Because I see a lot of home inspectors that are paying their inspectors way too much, and their pre-tax profit is way lower than it should be. Okay, so then what we try to do is get in there and do some cost reduction issues so they can earn personally what they want of the revenue. How many employees do you want? Maybe you don't want any, because we had a category over here a minute ago that was one-man shop and happy. Okay, but just because you're a one-man shop and happy doesn't mean that you need to do smart marketing. Okay, you need to decide what you're going to do, put systems in place to keep you one-man shop and happy. So you may not want any employees, and that's legitimate, because sometimes employees, Coach William, can be a pain in the neck, can't they?
Yes, sir. You know, I just this morning, we talked about it a minute ago. One of my local comrades here, another savvy member in our market. He's a one-man shop, and the guy just tears it up. But he's smart. He does a lot of marketing, and he does it tastefully. Does it in the right places. He's the guy I was talking about that's booked out a week all the time, and he's getting top dollar for what he does. Sounds like to me he needs to raise his prices if he's booked out that far, and he should. I mean, so for that, for him, he's retired from another job. He's got another little income coming in. So, the home inspection business, I don't know what his goals are long term to sell or pass it off or what. But I don't think that's one of his major concerns. Where it is for me, this is bread and butter, and will be my retirement and what have you. And so as far as income, it's funny to say that because up until 2 years ago, I didn't make any money. I didn't have a check. I didn't get a paycheck. I never cut myself a check, or Sherry, my wife. So, by getting acquainted with our CPA now that's helping the savvy here, made it very clear about why we needed to do that. And it feels good to get your own little check. So, but it's about your future is why you want to do that. You got to be able to retire someday. You need to be able to show, the state income that you've had for one example of why to do that. So yeah, I think a lot of folks just start that way. Again, when you come into this business like I did, it's just about, let's get some work. Let's find this sort of income. I can kind of be in business for myself and feels good. Let's go. Not realizing that, you need to know where you're going. Where are you and where do you want to be?
So true. Now, I want you to know that Coach William didn't say he didn't have personal earnings from the company. He just didn't draw a paycheck. And there's smarter ways to do it. And I want you to pay yourself first. Okay, it's very important that you pay yourself first. Okay, so Coach Williams gotten all that worked out, and the way he's taking his money now is benefiting him in a variety of ways. And so that's it. So decide on the employees. Okay, so here's what happens is, what is it you want your role in the business to be? And Coach William, this has really, really changed for you and Miss Sherry. And let's talk about it for a minute. Never in a million years would you figure you'd be structured the way you're structured now.
Right, and so again, it goes back to the way most folks come into the business. You be an exception to that rule. I was sharing in another video that I've just all but finished with the E-Myth Revisited is the book. Highly recommend you read that. And so it's the way you approach the business. The mindset that you come into the business. Are you coming into the business as a business person like Ken here, or did you come into the business as an inspector tech, which I think is where most people come from. That's where I came from. But as we've grown, hey, this is a business and it needs to be structured like a corporation and it needs to be ran that way. So if I had started the business with the end in mind, when I first started the business, I'd have said, all right, who's going to be CEO? Who's going to be the manager? Who's going to be the tech on the floor putting the gadgets together? Who's going to be the marketing person? What is my market segment? What am I going to go after? I mean, all of these questions that really, to design a business, should be asked before you ever put pen to paper on putting the outline of that business together. I see that now, and we've been able to make changes, and of course, Ken's coached us tremendously through the years to help make that happen. Where Sherry and I have gotten to the point where our jobs are the owners are to create these things and delegate them. Try to be hands off as much as possible. Doesn't mean it always works that way. I'm getting ready to go do an inspection here myself in a minute because life happens. And again, that straight road to success is a quick left and a quick right all the way up the ladder. So you've got to be prepared to do whatever. But just knowing that we have those goals in mind and we've got things in place to work towards those, to achieving those goals, just gives you a purpose. When you get up every day to know that you've got goals to achieve. You're not just out there doing another inspection, knocking another one down, and with no plan to progress yourself forward.
Coach William finds himself in a unique position. He can take multiple weeks off on vacation, him and Miss Sherry, and guess what? The business still runs itself.
Right. So like I said earlier, our first inkling of that was in 2008 when we came to, it was our second workshop, and between the first workshop and the second workshop, I had made my first hire because we implemented so many things. And had to do that. But anyway, at that next workshop, we're sitting on the beach there in Fort Myers, and I'm taking phone calls scheduling my newest employee, and that was just such an awesome feeling that I've never looked back. I mean, that's the way it needs to be done. So, I don't worry about getting sick. I don't worry about having to take off or whatever. If there's a family issue, I'm there because the business goes on without me.
So what is it you want your role to be in the business? That's what you have to ask yourself in 3 to 5 years, and we can help you work towards achieving that. Now, here's one William alluded to a minute ago with our buddy with the one-man shop, who's a super guy. He's been in the savvy inspector forever and ever and has really gone from not knowing how to market a business, home inspection business, to extremely successful. And he's just a nice fella, too. But I say all the time in our strategies on this, do you want to take an unpaid vacation permanently by walking away from your business? Or maybe you say, you know what, I'd like to groom somebody from the inside to try to take the business over. Or William's family, a lot of them is in the business with him. And what happens is they're some of the managers. And could they run the business and William and Sherry just be board of director members? So they give the leadership and guidance. Here's where we want to go in 2017, 2018, 2019. And then what happens is Coach William meets with the staff once a month as a board, and they report their results. He doesn't have to be out of the business, and he's still earning a significant income from it. All right, so there's a lot of ways to get out of the business, but the least profitable one is unpaid vacation permanently. And this is why I say that, because, and this is where I've worked with Coach William and so many other home inspectors over the years. If you are the primary lead generator for the business, let's say Coach William was a multi-inspector firm still, but he was bringing in all the leads. And I have clients that's true. They're multi-million-dollar revenue producers, and they're using one of the owners is basically bringing in all the leads. Now, prior clients are still calling them all that. Don't get me wrong. But for new business, okay, so if this person gets run over by a bus and a new business owner comes in and says, wow, this person, the part of the business owner, it's a husband and wife team. If she's gone, guess what happens is those leads don't come in. So why would I want to buy that business? Okay, and so what our smartest clients do is they build in systems that bring in the leads. Okay, so going direct to the public brings in the leads. Having a marketing rep brings in the leads. There's all kinds of ways that we can teach you where the business owner isn't bringing in the leads. So then what happens is a buyer comes in and says, well, Mr. Home Inspector, I see if you leave, the leads still come in. So this is a viable business opportunity. And then you start talking about price. Okay, so these are the things you need to think about. I don't care where you are right now. That's all good and fine. We can help you in any one of these areas. But what happens is you have to understand where you want to be. And I always say this, wave that magic wand, because I want you to dream bigger. Okay, don't dream small. We'll help you get it, and all you got is small. But say really what you want, and I think that makes a huge, huge difference. Okay.
You got to set those goals. I mean, that's a great column to go down right there. It's important to sit down and try to reach goals. You know, don't make it easy stuff. It needs to be something that's, Ken always likes to use the analogy of wave the magic wand. And there's a lot to be said for that, because it does. You got to remove those barriers, So set your goals, get your plan in place. If the plan doesn't work, change the plan. Don't change your goal. Just change your approach to get to it. So, I can't say enough about that, because at the beginning, and I think like most folks, I don't have any out. What's my goal? To get up and inspect today, and hopefully I'll have another inspection tomorrow. But I didn't have any, plans for the future, no foresight to set these goals or have achievements that we wanted to make. So it does put a whole different perspective, on your business and yourself. Your reason for getting out of bed every morning is enhanced because you do have a goal that you want to achieve. And then as a multi-inspector firm, let's throw this out there, a really pleasant surprise for us for this year is that our team, our schedulers, office staff has really jumped on board with us, because in the past we've shared, here's our actuals, here's our goals. And it didn't really resonate with them very well. But the way we've been sharing that now and what's in it for them, for us to hit these goals, so I was just sharing that we walked in the office the other day, and my phone schedulers actually took the initiative to set some of their own goals. So many home inspections, so many radons, so many 5-star package, all that on sticky notes up in front of their phone. How awesome is that? So then we were able to say, hey, this is great, this is what we want you to do, but let's look at the goals that we've set, as a company, and let's make these goals that you got on your wall realistic. And so they've done that. So now it's not just me out there pushing this, trying to make it happen. I've actually got a team on board with me to move in that direction. And that feels so good.
It is. And Coach William, just to follow that, if you were a one-man shop going multi, and you said in 5 years, 3 to 5 years, I want 5 home inspectors, but I don't think that's possible. And I say that's wrong. Just add a human resources component to your plan.
That's right.
So we know when we're going to hire. We know what kind of a person we're looking for. Like Coach Williams said, just adjust the plan. Don't give up on your dream. Okay, so this is what you have to do. Where are you right now? And then what are your goals? And you know, if I had my spouse in business or didn't, I would go over this with my significant other or spouse and say, you know, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And get some feedback from them. All right, so let's look at market segments. Now, when I say market segments, a lot of times people don't know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about what a market segment is. A market segment is a slice of the real estate market or the home inspection market where you're getting your business from. In other words, where are these leads going to come from? Okay, so these are market segments, and this is very, very important to you to know. Okay, so and I just put some examples. There's certainly more. Okay, but this market segment happens to be direct to the public. How many units, I call home inspections units, how many units do I expect to get from the public? All right, and then top producer marketing. We don't say real estate marketing, do we, Coach? We say top producer, non-top producer, and let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, sure. I mean, top producers as a new one-man shop out the gate are going to be tough for you to get. Top producers are top producers for a reason. They've surrounded themselves with successful people. That includes a home inspector. So they've already got that know me, like me, trust me relationship built with somebody. So it can be a little tougher nut to crack. The best you can hope for is to keep yourself in front of them and hope for that opportunity that inspector's sick or vacation or booked up too busy to get your foot in the door. So top producer marketing is a complete different strategy to use to market to those versus the non-top producer marketing, especially if you're new in the business.
For sure. You know, one of the things that we really love about top producers, and we define top producer, there's no definition out in the market, but what we define top producer is anybody who can give us a minimum of one home inspection a month or 12 a year. If you give us a minimum of 12 a year, we define you as a top producer. Okay, and what makes top producers way better than non-top producers? Here's what happens is, let's say that you're in a KW office. Okay, the reason you're in there, you have to pay the franchise fee. You have to pay rent generally to the broker. Okay, so let's say that's $20,000 a year or more. What happens is the best agents will go in there, okay, because they know they can cover that expense and then profit as well. Okay, so this is what we love about top producers. They have lead gen strategies in place or lead generation strategies in place. Okay, so think about a funnel. You used to put oil in a lawnmower or whatever. The funnel is very big at the top. Okay, so what top producers do, they keep that funnel full at the top, so at the bottom, sales drop out each month. Okay, and like Coach Williams says, we market top producers completely different. We're trying to position ourselves as number two. Because like Coach Williams said, they already have a relationship with an existing home inspector, and we value that. You know, the relationships you have with your existing top producers, I mean, you get that. So we market them way different. Now, Coach Williams, you guys really aren't spending much time or money on non-top producer marketing.
No, I mean, and again, it just comes with time of being, already being established. So, and not that we don't, especially if it's new agent, new agents that come on, we have programs for those because they are tomorrow's, new top producers. So, but as far as blanket marketing, if you will, to offices, if they're not a top producer, we do very little marketing there.
Okay. And, non-top producers have one lead generation strategy. It's 4-letter word. It's not nasty. It's hope. They hope they're on, duty when somebody calls in looking for somebody to help them. Okay. That hope is no marketing strategy. Okay. The other thing I like about top producers is this. If you can get into an office where they pay 100% commission, that's always Keller Williams, and it depends on others in your market. Some Remax, some others. Okay, the agents that have that big overhead, the fees and the rent, all that, those agents are out there working every day to fill that funnel. They have lead generation strategies in place. That's what allows them to keep the funnel full at the top. Okay, so this is very, very important top producer marketing. We teach non-top producer marketing, don't get me wrong, but like William said, if you're brand new to the business, you're going to need to do non-top producer marketing before and get your sea legs a minute before you jump up to the top producers. Okay, and some people over here, depending on where you are right now, they don't want to do either one. They don't want to fool the real estate agents, or they don't want to market them in their offices or whatever, and we can show you strategies to get those agents working with you without ever stepping foot into a real estate office. We can show you how to do that. I didn't want to diminish this one because, Coach William, it's up here at the top for a reason. Okay, it's on the top of my list of market segments because a variety of reasons. And in another video, we get into all the details. But the short of it is the real estate agents in many cases are going away. If you look in the offices that you market today, Coach William, I'm sure this is true in your market as well, there's not a lot of people home, or if somebody's home, it's the same group each time you go in. Is that true in your market?
That's very true. I think it's the way. I think it's across the board that way. So, yeah, it's just critical that we focus the majority of our attention on going direct to the public. And again, you catch that in the other presentation. But today, the way things are, the times demand that we have a strong online presence and be able to market directly to the public.
If you're getting the majority of your business from the top producer marketing segment and the non-top producer marketing segment, you're somewhat balanced. But if you're getting the majority of your inspections from non-top producers, you're in big jeopardy. Let's think about why I say that. In 2007, 2008, in recession, what happened, Coach William? Did those non-top producers last?
No, and I mean, I was just talking to, it's funny you say that, I was talking to a broker last night for a awards banquet that they had, and we were talking about, prior to Trump coming in the office and the gloom and doom of recession that everybody was preparing for. And then the flip side of that now, because the market has been so hot that, the real estate agents, just like home inspectors, when the market's hot, we get inundated with brand new home inspectors, and the same way for, I guess it's even worse probably for real estate agents. And so he made the comment, and just about as I was going to say it was, we hate to see a recession. We hate to see, we're at the point now where we're wondering, are we going to run out of houses? So we kind of hate to see those kind of things happen. But on the bright side of that, it kind of calls out all of the, the non-top producers, the folks that are that 80%, that doesn't do the work. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Non-top producers, especially when the market's hot, there's a ton of them out there.
So the issue is in 2007, 2008, those non-top producers went to do something else. And I jokingly tease and say they became a greeter at the Walmart. And I always say to our clients, certainly not out in the public, but that, what do they do now? And saying welcome to Walmart. But I was in a Walmart with my granddaughter the other day, and they no longer have greeters. So I'm uncertain what they're going to do now. So, but let's draw that 2007, 2008 scenario to right now. Coach William alluded to it a minute ago. If you're heavy in top producer marketing and you're dependent on them for your referrals, guess what happens? We have a housing shortage all over, an inventory shortage all over the U.S. Some communities are in dire straits. Okay, there's just not that many homes on the market, and people are afraid to list their home to sell it because there's nothing for them to buy in their same town. Okay, so this is a serious problem. So who's going to be affected most by that? It's going to be non-top producers. They got nothing to sell. They're not even good salespeople to start with. They got nothing to sell. But when they had an inspection or a sale, they would give it to you. But now they don't have it. Okay, because they're not great lead generation producers. They don't do good in lead gen. So if you're dependent on non-top producers and they're gone, how are you going to replace those units? You're going to replace them with go direct to the public. All right? So I can't tell you how important that is that you start working on go direct to the public. And there will be another webinar here on the homepage of our website that will deal directly with go direct to the public, the things that you should be engaged in today, invest in today to build your online reputation and your online body of work. I mean, Coach William, he recognized this was happening a while back. And so, Coach William, you got us, our company, to the Savvy Inspector to take over your online. And I was just saying, when they type in your company name into the internet, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, we're dominating the first, like you said, 10 pages right there. So, that it just speaks volume for that client. When they land there and see all that information, they're not going to find that on our competitors. So it's just kind of a no-brainer that we must be the expert, in our marketplace. So price then becomes less of an issue, and they see the value.
That is so true. So in that 10 pages that Coach William owns of Google for certain home inspections, what happens is there's reviews in there. There's review video commercials that we produce for his company. There's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's all kinds of things in there. And the people can read it and they're like, man, this company's super strong. Okay, so they choose them. So going direct to the public is on the top of my list for a reason. Top producers are always going to be around regardless. Some external things are happening in the market too. I think if the IRS and the others rule that real estate agents can no longer be 1099s but are W-2s, you know what the broker's going to do? Get rid of everybody who doesn't produce, right? I mean, would you, Coach William? I mean, if you want to pay tax on them, you don't want them hanging around, do you?
Right. I mean, and you know, that's kind of funny because you hear, we are very involved with, you know, the real estate offices and franchises in our area. And so we watch, and you'll hear, and I'm not going to drop any names, but one agency, like we have X amount of agents, they're proud because they've got all of these agents on board. And then you go to these, their staff meetings or their awards banquet, was like the one I went to last night. There's an example. The one I went to last night, this was a large franchise who has gone through a lot of changes in the last year, and they've reduced in size, you know, pretty dramatically. But yet, at their awards banquet last night, and they're sharing all their stats, they're up from where they were a year ago. So the fact that they downsized or lost a lot of agents says to me, by looking at those numbers, they got rid of the dead weight. You know, and as the market changes, if they're going to become W-2s, that's going to be the first. As a broker, that's the first thing I would do. You know, Sally sells nothing, has to go. Sally sells a lot, stays.
You got it. You know they are. And there's a lot of other things happening too, and we talk about it in a variety of ways. A home seller can list their home for free on the MLS now. There's lots of brokerages that are doing a la carte services. You want us to hold you an open house for the public on Sunday, it's $350 or whatever the number is. And you look at all these things happening, the real estate brokers saying, wow, these virtual brokers, Zillow, Redfin, Zip, Trulia, you know, these guys are making sales, and guess what happens? They don't have a brick and mortar office. Can we follow that method to increase our profitability? So there's a lot of external things that are happening you may not be familiar with, and it affects real estate agents. And okay, so when it affects them, it affects you if you're getting business from them. So if you're not going direct to the public and beefing up, investing now because it's happening now, and for the future, you're going to be a dinosaur. You're going to be very hard pressed to meet your goals, unless your goals are very, very low, which I don't want them to be. Prior client marketing, I know, Coach William, this is one of the things you told me you wish you had implemented sooner. You know, this is a market segment, and the thing I love about this market segment is these people already think you're the obvious expert, and they know you, like you, and trust you. But so many home inspectors never touch this group, do they?
Right, and I was guilty of that. I wouldn't say never touched it. I never really, you know, focused on it. We'd always had some emails that went or something silly, but nothing that really tried to capture that market. And it's a different strategy, you know, than any of these other market segments that we're talking about. But on the bright side, you've already established that relationship, and it opens up the door for more than just beyond home inspections. Any of your ancillary services, annual services, you know, pool, spa, you can open those up, close them, inspect them, termites, anything like that. It's because you've already got that rapport going. So when we talk about other ways to supplement your income, you know, prior clients are a great area to implement some of those strategies. So we're seeing more and more all the time, you know, what you focus on, you get more of. So we're seeing more and more all the time that, you know, the prior client referrals. It also, I'd say that seems to come with, you know, we found you online as well. You know, that the prior client might have made that recommendation. Where do they go? Right there to their mobile device and check you out. So we're hearing that a lot. Well, so-and-so, the one I just finished up here a couple of days ago, my fiance's brother had used you guys and gave you a great review, and then I found you on Facebook. So, you know, you hear that mixed match. But just to know that that's happening. And some good incentives for prior clients. You know, we have our frequent referral program, so you can give them there's something in it for them to keep you on the tip of their mind if they, you know, they're sitting there getting a haircut and somebody brings up they're buying a new home. It's sure nice to have a prior client say, hey, well, I know a great home inspector, and drop that. That has a lot of power. You know, a lot of folks, not a lot, but we hear it more and more all the time that we chose you because our agent did not recommend you. You weren't on the agent's list. I think that's a savvy move on a buyer's side. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I think it's wrong because we're the same inspection whether there's an agent involved or not. But I understand that mindset. And there again, it goes again with the millennials being savvy about these kind of things and doing their due diligence to find out if that is a good referral or not. So, but anyway, back on prior clients, I think it's a huge missed opportunity by most inspection firms, and me included, up until about a year or so ago that we really started pushing this, and we're seeing results from it.
It is a great thing. Now, Coach William, didn't one of your prior clients of 4 years ago just called you up and you guys did the inspection? His realtor wanted him to use somebody else.
Yeah, that's right, and that's not uncommon either. Yeah, I don't think the agent was too happy about that. But once you've done, once you've satisfied a client and they were impressed with your services, if you stay in front of them, if you keep in front of their minds, some kind of way to keep your name in front of them, they will come back to you, no matter what the agent says.
Right. I want to go, just thinking through that for a minute, I want to go back up here for direct to the public, because on a different webinar, we shared this strategy. And I said to you earlier, we have strategies if you never want to walk into the office, how to get real estate agents. And here's one of them I want you to really understand. But the first thing I want you to say is, Coach Williams said something to you a minute ago that I really want you to write down. Okay, it's the law of attraction. And a lot of people said, oh, that's hocus pocus. No, the law of attraction is simply this. What you focus on most, you get more of. So what you focus on most, you get more of. I want you to write that down. So that is so important. So by working your way through this, you're focused on your business and you can get tremendous results. So let's talk about this strategy for a second. And we've been teaching this for a long time, and it works like a champion. You go direct to the public for the business, and you get a home buyer. Okay, so the home buyer, he or she, in many cases, will bring the buyer's agent. They do have an agent. Okay, so they'll bring the buyer's agent. All right, so what happens is the buyer's agent has never worked with you in the past. So here's what your wrap is. I know we haven't worked together today, and sometimes home inspectors cause real estate agents a little uncomfortable feeling. You feeling that way? Yeah, a little uncomfortable, Ken. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna share with you this. Today, when I do the inspection, I'm going to be thorough so that you don't get any callbacks. The client wants to know what's the condition of the home, and so I'm going to be thorough so you don't get callbacks. If I miss this or miss this, they're going to call you back, and then you may never get another referral from them. So we're going to be thorough so you don't get callbacks. And the second thing that's going to happen is we're going to communicate our inspection findings in a neutral, non-scary manner. There's nothing in the standards of practice that says we have to scare the client to death. Okay, so that's my commitment to you today. And what I'd like to do for you to do is, if I lived up to my commitment, I would like for you to put me on your approved vendor list. Could you do that? And then I hush. Okay, and you know what they say? Well, sure, that's a reasonable thing. Okay, so then at the end of the inspection, when the client's doing something else, I'll say, okay, did I do it or didn't I do it? And they'll say, Ken, you sure did. And I say, can I count on you to put me on your list? And they'll say, absolutely. And if you don't see it right away, follow up with a nice note. Hey, when we met, this was our agreement. I'd love you to put me on there. Okay, so you didn't step into a real estate office to get that, did you, Coach William?
No.
You leveraged direct to the public to get a new referral source.
Yes.
Okay, so this is so important. And these are the kind of strategies that we teach our clients every day in the Savvy Inspector. With the inventory shortage, you need every piece of business you can get. I mean, this is starting to really impact everybody's income. And certainly worse in some markets than others. Okay, so that's it. So prior clients already know you, like you, and trust you. Why wouldn't you use them, leverage them? Like Coach Williams said, hey, they not only say when they're in the barbershop, here's the home inspection company I used, but then they go on and on about all the good things about you. And this person's thinking, wow, that's awesome. This guy's passionate about it. And then they go look you up on the internet. 78% of them do. Okay, so prior client marketing segment is really, really important. I say you should get a third of your business from prior client marketing. And if you start it from the very beginning, and I say prior client marketing starts at the driveway. When you're doing that driveway presentation, you are setting expectations for what's going to happen today. And then what happens, you move right through that. Okay, so you start setting up prior client marketing. I mean, I can't tell you how effective Southern Home Inspection Services was at it. About a third of our business came from it. And we do tons of inspections, 13 guys going full-time, 5 scheduled support staff. So that was a big thing. Now, Coach William, here's one of the things you heard me preach about over the years. We almost demand the client comes from the minute we start on the driveway. And how do you feel about that? What's your firm's position on it?
Yeah, well, I think, the truth be known, every inspector would rather the client not be there. This makes things go quicker and you can focus and go. But the fact is, you want them there. We don't demand that they're there, but we highly, highly recommend it, and we point out the reasons why. And so, but the underlying reason why is, it's hard to sue a friend. And so, I mean, if you can turn that client into, from an acquaintance to a friend, somebody that know, like, and trust you, you've just reduced your liability substantially. One, and then two, when they're there, not only are they able to gain the knowledge of going around and you're pointing out all these things to them, but they actually understand, the due diligence that you gave to performing for them, all the nooks and crannies and what you couldn't see and all that good stuff. So it just eliminates all those questions after the fact. Our number one, complaints come from people who weren't there, occupied home, and the client wasn't there. It's almost like a guaranteed callback. So we really, really want the client to be there, just to overcome that. And again, I want to get future work from them, and it's hard to do if they weren't there and you're just producing a report and emailing it and never said anything to them. So highly recommend that you ask that they be there. We encourage that, and most folks do. 90% or better of the inspections we do, they're the client's there.
I agree with the liability thing, but the reason we basically demand they came because we want to make that prior client a brand fan. We want to make you a raving brand fan. And you know what happens of the company? And we train our inspectors this way. We train them. Here's what you do. Here's how you do it. Here's how you look. Here's how you act. And what happens is we wanted to turn them into brand fans. And you know what happens is we measured our inspectors on requests and referrals from prior clients. Okay, if they're creating brand fans, they're getting requests. Okay, and they're getting referrals from their prior clients. And that was part of your performance evaluation. Okay, because I need everybody on the team to help me pull that wagon. And by generating brand fans, it makes it way easier. If you got a third of your business or more from prior clients, and that was a steady thing, you wake up every month and you say, a third of my goals are already met. How positive would that be without having to get out there and kill yourself?
Absolutely.
I loved it. So it was a thing. We focused on it heavily on prior client marketing, and we'll teach you strategies on how to automate that and the whole thing. Here's one, William, I think that is a big missed opportunity for too many home inspectors.
Yeah, mortgage brokers, we've talked about that a lot here lately, again, because of the, outlook of the market and the housing shortage. I think it's important that we attack every one of these market segments. And mortgage brokers can be a huge part of that. In our area, we've struggled with it some. I've put together some nice campaigns. And not that we don't get some results, but man, it's just don't, it's just not flooding the gates. And then I'm at the awards banquet I was talking about last night. Happened to be sitting right beside CEO of a local bank here. And about halfway through the event, we were introduced, and I realized who he was. He realized who I was. So he whips out a business card right then and starts telling me about, asked me for my card because he's heard great things about us and wants to make sure that he shares that information with his chief loan officer. So hopefully that'll turn into something. But I think those relationships are just like going after those top producers, identifying who those people are within those branches or mortgage lending offices that are the influencers and who can make those referrals. So I know there are some inspectors who do really, really well with this, and maybe it's just different for the areas. So I think it is another missed opportunity. There is work there to be had. We could improve on that ourselves. Again, I tried the strategy and didn't get the results I wanted, so I need to tweak it and try again, change the plan, right, not the goal. So so we'll continue to do that. And as agents disappear, the more and more important this loan, almost everybody has to get financing for their home. So as the agent's out of the picture, that makes the lender that much more valuable.
And we have lots of strategies at the Savvy Inspector to help you with mortgage broker marketing. So that's a good segment. But here's one of the things I like about mortgage brokers. You can't kill their deal. You cannot kill their deal. Their interest is the same as the client's. They want the client to get a good home, so they're happy with it and pay for it. Okay, they don't want somebody to move in and there's $40,000 worth of trouble, the client can't pay for it. Then that's a bad loan. Okay, so what happens is the mortgage brokers got the same interest as the client. And you can't kill the mortgage broker's deal, and that's a good thing. It's a way different dynamic. Okay, so here's one I think people don't think about. A lot of people have been in BNI. I think it's a great thing. There's other network marketing groups out there as well. So if you're committed to that as a market segment, I think that can be good. If you're outgoing and you can give referrals and you like that kind of thing, networking groups can be very, very powerful. And I think, again, it's overlooked. And certainly home inspectors aren't measuring how many referrals came directly from a networking group. So I think that's a big thing. Now, there are other market segments that we could put down here that are smaller, but these are the ones where I think all home inspectors should be marketing. So, that's a thing. Now, Coach William, mortgage broker marketing, the way we want you to do it, and some things that, in Indiana, you probably don't have the associations or whatever, but in your other larger markets, you would. But if you're new to the business, mortgage broker marketing wouldn't necessarily be right for you at that stage.
I would agree. And network group marketing, I think, again, as this market changes, real estate agents become less involved, the more value there is in these other segments. The network group marketing is something I'm glad you've got that on here, because that's another avenue that we can open back up. As a one-man shop, if you get involved in BNI or some of these, it involves a little time. And then typically, the longer you're in there, the more homework you have to stay in that group. So I did well in a BNI group as a one-man shop, but it got to where, I'm there to get referrals, and then I'm losing referrals because I'm there. So as a one-man shop, I ended up opting out of that. But now as a multi-inspector firm, I could see, having an inspector plugged into a couple of different of these groups as the market turns on us there might be more valuable, value in that now than there was then.
Sure. Yeah, because you're in a different place in your business. You're a large multi-inspector firm, and you don't have day-to-day responsibilities for all aspects of the business. So it makes complete sense to you. I mean, I could even see your marketing person, and now you're having two marketing people. I could see one of them being involved, or both of them in different groups to work that. So that's a good thing. We have lots of advanced strategies. These are the groups, the market segments, and underneath these we have all kinds of advanced, intermediate, and beginner strategies. So no matter where you are in the business, you can still work these market segments, and we have strategies that you can implement. You couldn't implement some advanced things until you got some of the fundamental things in place. So underneath each one of these segments would be the strategies that you would engage in to make this happen. Okay, so let's end this thing here and talk about the Savvy Inspector approach. We've talked about it, what you need to do, where are you right now, evaluate where you are in the business cycle, what are your goals, okay, work through that, ask yourself those hard questions, be honest, wave that magic wand. And these would be the areas from which you get business. Okay, we call them market segments, so know that. So here's how the Savvy Inspector approaches this whole thing, because everybody's busy and you don't have the same background and experience. So here's what we do. We share with you these things. We share with you what you need to do. We share with you why you need to do it. I mean, I think that's important. We can share with you what you need to do, but if you don't understand why, that's not as effective. I want to know why I'm doing this. Okay, so that's why we do that. What you need to do, why you need to do it. We give you the tools to make it happen. Okay? But Coach William, here is the most important thing, isn't it?
He who implements wins.
That's it, brother. All you have to do is implement what we've taught you. Now, Coach William, what would you say the key to your success from a struggling one-man shop, basically just praying this thing would go forward to where you are now, 9 home inspectors and growing?
Yeah, implementing it one bite of the elephant at a time and perfecting that. So you grab a piece, this looks like it would make sense to me, or this would be fairly simple for me to implement and grow with. So grab that strategy, grab that market segment that you're after, match that message to market match, and then start implementing these things. And if you get great results, improve upon that and keep working. If you don't get great results, yank it back, tweak it, try it again. And so, I mean, that's what we've done. It used to be when you go to one of the workshops, and people still refer to it as, drinking from a fire hose. And I mean, that's what it was. We were so blown away by the information that came from the stage, one. Then two, the after-hour mingling that we do is just, oh my gosh, just the information that you get from other people. So Sherry and I are going there not knowing what to expect, from the onset. Filled up 2 daggone binder paper, college-bound notebooks, pads, trying to just, our head was down most of the time, scratching, trying to keep up. So, we knew that we'd found what we were looking for. And so and we actually took a little vacay after that workshop, and we just sat down through our vacation there and weeded through that information that we gained and picked 2 or 3 things that we thought were going to be simple for us to, start implementing, because you can't do it all at once. And so it worked, and we've continued to do that. Just, we've implemented this, got it perfected, let's go to the next thing, whatever that might be. And you would think that, over time, I've been doing this with Ken since 06, or 07. So you would think that, you would used up all the strategies by now, right? But being in the group and being in mastermind groups and being involved, I mean, everybody's got, if they don't have a brand new thing, they've taken something old and tweaked it to make it new in another way, or they've done something you've done but done it in a different way. So it just never ends. And the market's always evolving, and our marketing has to evolve with that. So I'm trying to keep it short, but that's what I would do. Today the workshops are set up so that we have breakout sessions, so you can focus in on a track if you want. Maybe it's financials for you, or it's hiring and training for you, or marketing top producers is what you're after. So you can come to a workshop and then just focus on that one, one aspect of what you're after. You still get everything from the workshop afterwards available to you, but you're able to focus put all your attention in that one basket while you're at that workshop, and we've gotten tons of great feedback about that, and I like that much better myself. So because you're able to stay focused on what's going on stage, you're not there trying to scratch everything down and take notes, because Kim does make it available to you afterwards with some links and what have you. So. Long answer, but that's what I would do. Choose your strategy, implement that until you get it perfected, and move to the next one. And that's what we've done, and we continue to do every day.
On the Savvy side, if you're going to go direct to the public, their strategies, top producer marketing, their strategies, you don't have to dream these things up. We have them for you, and we've proven them to work. If things that didn't work don't land on the website. And Coach William, I think you guys have moved beyond implementer now to innovator. I mean, you've been here so many years hanging around with our staff that you see things and opportunities where you say, okay, I can take this and improve upon this.
Sure.
So, the first thing we really need you to do is implement what we teach before you try to be an innovator, because most people will say, oh, I'm going to do it this way when we shared you to do it this way. And then they'll come back on a call or whatever, and they say that strategy didn't work. And we'll say, well, share with us what you did. And then, people pay us to give you tough love. And after I hear what they've done, I said, the strategy didn't fail you. You failed the strategy because you didn't implement it correctly. And so when they go back and do it correctly our way, then what happens is they win with it. So I want most people to be implementers first, first, and then what happens when you get to be Coach Williams' size, and with the size of staff and number of inspectors he has, it's smart to become innovators. Take strategy and say, we can do this better this way. For our firm. So you have everything you need right there on the Savvy Inspector website. The site is not cost prohibitive. It's, our inner circle group is very inexpensive. And one of the things I think Coach William loved was there was no contract to sign. We have to earn your business each and every month. So what happens, as long as we're providing you tremendous value and you're growing your business, you'll be with us. And Coach William joined us, I think, in 2007. We started in 2006. We have clients like Coach William that have been there since the door opened and are still there. But that no contract is a good thing. I don't think you should have to sign a contract, and I don't think you have to pay too much money either. So that's the thing. Coach William, anything else before we go?
No, this was a great presentation. And again, what you said, if you being innovative, the thing is, even though I've been with the Savvy this long, I learn something new every time I get on with the guys, because again, we got mastermind groups and different folks of our caliber in there, and they're doing the same thing, and they can't wait to share. Something works, you try something new and it works, I want to share it with everybody, and it's the same with everybody in the group, and that's the kind of thing you get when you're a Savvy member versus you go to your local association meeting and everybody sits there scared to death they're going to share their little secret with the with their competitor sitting in the chair next to them. So it's a whole different paradigm at these workshops. Everybody, there's real camaraderie here. These folks are my friends. I continue to grow those friendships and add new friends to it through the Savvy. Not only do we go there for the education, we go there to visit with our friends and catch up, and just a great time, a great group of people.
Beth and I love the workshops too, but during the year we have a private Facebook group called TSI Engage, and it's only for our clients, our coaching clients. And so what happens is there's a lot of interaction in there day in and day out. That is a hugely active group. And so everybody's helping each other, and Coach William and I get in there, and the rest of our team gets in there and answers questions and does things to help them in there as well. But they're really helping and sharing with each other. There's no holding back on that. So before we go, Coach William, I want to really say two things, and I just want to focus. And these I want you to, if you haven't already written this down, this is very important. And it's the law of attraction. I know I've said it, but I want to say it to you again because it is so important. What you focus on most, you get more of. What you focus on most, you get more of. And one of the things that makes the Savvy Inspector clients so successful is they're focused on their success. They're focused on achieving their goals. Okay, so that's the big thing. That's the big thing. And the second thing, I can't tell you enough. It's right on the front of the members portal. Every time you log in, you see it all over the Savvy site. That he who implements wins. We can give you all this great information, tell you what to do, why to do it, give you the tools to do it. But by George, if you don't do it, you will not win. Okay, and that would be sad. And right now, you need to become a marketer of home inspection services because of all these external factors happening in the market. It's never been more important that you understand where you are, what your goals are, and how you're going to get that business in. Because if things got worse, we don't want you to go out of business. We want you to thrive and gain market share while everybody else goes out of business. So that's why we're focused on this. So I hope this helps. Coach William, again, thank you, sir, very much for being on the call, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you all.